Very good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Mitaji.
Good
Good
morning,
morning,
ma'am.
ma'am.
As you all know, very good morning, dear. As you all know that in the last class, when we were discussing about the different topics, we were discussed about the report. We identified what are the different types of reports. We discussed in detail about routine report, research-based report, investigation report, confidential report, analytical report, technical report, and annual report. Then we also identified what are the essentials that we have to keep in our mind whenever we are talking about writing a good report, in which we discussed about perspective, we discussed about how to add on authoritative, that is, the good facts and figures with proper evidences and proof, how one should be judicious while carrying the report or while presenting the report so that we can present the information without any biasness. When we talk about the report, there has to be a root, there has to be a problem statement, and whenever we are talking about the problem statement, of course along with the problem there will be solution. So what is it that we provide through the report, the solution that we provide? The solution should not be only carrying the single viewpoint, it should have multifaceted information, so therefore there has to have the different viewpoints along with appropriate annexure. So moving ahead, when we talk about a report, we have also discussed about the structure of the report, wherein it was detailed that table of content is the first thing that you are going to see whenever you read any report, followed by executive summary, then the background of the study, objective of the study methodology, various findings and observations that are derived, finally the recommendations, and then all the annexures will be included based on the report that you have identified and the information that you have collected. So when we talk about findings, we all know that there are numerous information which is available, and the information that we get, we need to filter, we have to clean it, we have to sanitize it, we have to identify what is relevant and what is irrelevant, what is important, what is unimportant. So you need to evaluate, and finally, even after evaluation, there will be again a lot of information. Out of that lot, what is very, very important, what is required as per the requirement of the report, we have to identify, process it, and then share it in your own words. You cannot copy and paste, because copy and paste will be considered as a crime. Always remember, plagiarism is a cyber crime. If you are copying something, if you are noting down the information that is somebody else's work, say for example, you all must have heard about IPR, that is intellectual property right. So these days, people, whenever they are doing any kind of research or if they are trying to write any report, generally they believe that nobody is going to watch, nobody is going to view if they copy and share the information of somebody else's information. So that is again wrong. You have to really process it in your own words. You have to write the important sources from where you have collected the information. What is the relevant of that particular source? Everything should be maintained and mentioned. Then comes about the data collection. When we talk about finding, yes, of course, there can be different sources through which we can collect the data. It could be primary or it could be secondary as detailed. When we talk about the first-hand information, which is collected either through questionnaire, interviewing, or observation. When we say questionnaire, it could be emailed or it could be collected as a person-to-person. Interview, it could be structured or unstructured. Observation, it could be participant or non-participant. Similarly, when we talk about the secondary documents or the secondary sources, it could be the government publication or earlier research papers, the census report, the personal records, the client histories, or the service records. These are the things that we have discussed. Now, as told to you all in my third class related to report writing, I have clearly stated that though we talk about executive summary in the initial stages, but we should always remember that the executive summaries are written, are presented always at the end. They are drafted at the end. So just keep in your mind that whenever we talk about executive summary, you should also know executive summaries are those that are written, that are presented, that are shared with the different people, which talks about the different information about the report. So whenever we are talking about the executive summary, they are also called as abstract. When we talk about the different information, please remember the report can run in 20, 30, 40, or even 100 or hundreds of pages. The people will not be keen to know more about the report unless and until they don't get a glimpse of what is it that you are mentioning in the report. So whenever we talk about good executive summary, these are the common things which everybody has to keep in mind while drafting the executive summary. Point one, you should know about the organization. You should know about the institution. You should know about the company. Unless and until you don't know where the organization is, what kind of business it is into, what are the services that it provides, where, when it was founded, who were its founder, what was the total investment which is made by the organization. So you should know about the organization. You should know its vision and mission. What are its target? What are its objective? What are its aim? Then what about its financial model? What kind of business model does it work? So you're going to learn more about business model and the financial models under the segment called financial management in semester 2. But meanwhile, you should all remember that every company will have different business model. How many of you have at least heard this name, IPO, share market, shares, public investment? If you have heard these words, quickly in the chat box, do just write I to make me understand that yes, it is you who had gone through this. So once when we are talking about private organization, there are small shops. There can be private or partnership based organization where they don't get the money or funding from the others. The complete investment happens, or the complete investment is done only by the partners or the members of that particular organization. So there can be different models of business. There can be different financial models. Now, when I say financial model, who are the investors? Who are the one who are investing money in that particular business? That is very important. So, but then after that, we should know about the products and services. What are the different products into which the organization is into? What are the different services into which the organization is into? It's not necessary that every time it is a manufacturing unit. Say, for example, when we talk about ISN produces or does it serve? What is your answer? Are we a service? Are we into service industry or are we into productions? Quickly in the chat box. Very good, Sakib. I see the answer. Very quick response from your side. Yes, we are into services. And what is the kind of service that we provide? What is the name of the service? What is the segment of the service that we are into? Excellent. We are into teaching. We are into education. Excellent. So keep this in your mind that similarly, every organization, wherever you are going to work, the organization will be under different segment and they will have different models. So the detail of the products, the detail of the services. Now, when I say educational, do we run only BBA course? Do we run only BCA course? No, we do not. So we are into different educational programs. So if I talk about ISM, we are into 3 different programs. We offer BBA and BCA under Aryabhat Knowledge University, and we also provide PGDM course to the students who want to complete their master's program, that is post-graduation program in diploma in management, so that they can pursue their career in the area of corporate and can start their career in with a great start or a kick. So keep this in your mind that every organization will have different products. They will be engaged into different services. Sometimes it is only product, sometimes it is only service, and sometimes it could be combination of the both, that is both services and products that are into. So finally, the report would be based on certain objective. The report would be based on certain problems of which you want to identify the solution, and then you also come up with the conclusion. Always remember, the summary is written not more than in 500 words. If you are talking about very good summary, they are really written in a crispy language, wherein 150 to 200 words are more than enough or more than sufficient. They will be talking about certain keywords. Do you all know what are keywords? Quickly in the chat box, have you heard about keywords anytime? Say, for example, if you want to search, if you want to do a search on website and you want to know about the latest movies, isn't it? Now, what are the 2 words that you're going to write? You're going to write one, latest, and the other one is movies. Or new releases, isn't it? Now, if you want to focus on language, or if you want to focus on the different places, say for example, it could be English, it could be Hollywood, or Bollywood, or Lollywood, or Tollywood. So there can be different words which can act as keywords, right? So you should remember those keywords. Again, these keywords are also mentioned under executive summary. So I hope everybody could understand that whenever we are talking about executive summary are those which are written in the paragraph form. Another word for a summary is abstract. Don't forget this. Another word for summary is abstract. In examination, if you get if there is a question, write a short note on abstract. Don't get confused. They are talking about summary. All right. So please keep this in your mind that whenever we are talking about the executive summary or the abstract, these are mentioned in not more than a few paragraphs or few sentences, so that it is easy for the people to read about the project, to know about the project, and finally to present it. All right. Moving ahead, when we talk about the next part of this concept called report writing, this is the final slide of this particular chapter. Now, whenever we are writing executive summary, the language that we should use should be simple, easy to understand, clearly mentioned, no grammatical errors, no spelling errors, avoid using tough words, don't use unfamiliar words, try to make it as simpler as possible. So keep this in your mind whenever you write any executive summary. It should be short. As I have already stated that it's many a times they will say that you should write a executive summary or the abstract should be written in not more than 150 words or 200 words. Yes, rightly stated. Short, simple, straightforward. The 3S. Then relevant points must be covered. You cannot say that as somebody is asking me to write only in short point, so I will skip the important points. No, you have to identify the ways in which you are going to write all the important points as short as you can. You can add them in the form of keywords, you can add them in the form of bullet words or bullet points, so that you can cover up as many concepts or as many topics as you can. Don't forget, conclusions and recommendations are very, very essential, because if your project is really talking about certain problem and solution, certainly you will also come up with a solution or the conclusion to that particular problem. So you should know what is the conclusion that is stated. If there are any recommendations to be made, if there are any suggestions to be made, so what would be those suggestions? What are those recommendations that are made will be there. Now, bullet words or bullet points are those which are marked with the help of numbers or bullets. Now, I don't know how many of you have marked like this. Now, whenever you are marking 1, then 2, then 3, these are the numbering bullets. Similarly, when you must have used the different shapes and structures, right, Abhishek? So please remember, bullet words are the keywords. Say, for example, if I talk about summary, how one should write summary? You should know 3S. Simple, short, straightforward. So those are 3 bullet words. I hope you got my point, all right? So similarly, whenever we are talking about the conclusion, the recommendations, these recommendations and conclusions should also be in short and simple. You should not write anything in exaggeration. Please remember, the paragraph should be condensed. When I say condensed, means very, very short, precise. You cannot repeat same information. You cannot explain the thing with example. I repeat, it should be in precise form. Whenever you hear the word condense, it means precise. And when we talk about precise, always remember, repetition of words, repetition of sentences must be avoided. Detailed explanation will not be accepted. Explaining with the help of examples will not be appreciated or accepted. So please remember that whenever we talk about summary, it will include only the key points, the key elements, the key sentences. That is the reason you will see it is, as it is already mentioned, that follow the art of precise writing, because when you are writing it in a precise way, that is, if somebody is asking you to read only 1 or 2 paragraph, which is 150 words to 200 words, it is very easy for you to read, and you can have a proper record of it. You can have a proper understanding of the information, isn't it? What I'm trying to say is, instead of reading a report of 100 pages, if somebody is asking you to just write two paragraphs which are of 100 to 200 words or 200 to 300 words, it will be very interesting, isn't it? Always remember, touch the key points in the sense, don't avoid writing or don't skip writing important points. All right. You should always remember it is very essential. It is a necessity of the report or even of the abstract to write all the relevant points. So therefore, keep these things in your mind whenever you are writing any of the executive summary. So let me once again sum it up. Though we talk about the structure of report, in the structure of report, what is the first thing that we will see when we are opening a report, whenever we are flipping the pages of a report? It could be any kind of report. It could be routine, it could be investigation, it could be confidential, it could be technical, it could be analytical, it could be annual, or it could be research based. So when you are turning the page, the first page that you're going to see would be dash. What it would be? I'm waiting for the answer. What is the first thing that you're going to see? Excellent, Atul Kumar Pandey. Index, yes. And what is the name that is being explained to you all? I have also given you another word, another name of index, right? Can I get that name too? Yes, index is absolutely right. I'm not saying index is wrong. Very good. Content, table of content. Very good, Abhijit. So content is another word. It would be called as table of content. You should remember this. The table of content will be the first page in which the different topic, subtopic, page numbers will be mentioned in detail. All right. Followed by table of content. The next would be executive summary. And right now, the things that we have discussed in today's class was all related to executive summary. Then comes background. As we have already explained, here you can see the things that are detailed in report. You can see it here. They are very clearly mentioned in this particular slide. When I talk about the complete report, the background, vision and mission, the financial model, as well as about the product. These consist of the background of that particular company, organization, institution, firm, about what we are presenting the report. Then comes the objective, the methodology that we are going to apply, followed by the problem and solution statements, which will be easy for us to present if we find the information, collect the data, could be from primary source or the secondary sources. Also remember, there will be lots and lots of information. These information that we have gathered should be well drafted, crafted. We have to identify what to include, what not to include, what to avoid, what to add on. So all these will be done. Finally, we will share the brief recommendation as well as conclusion. And then all the relevant documents, all the important documents, all the supportive documents, all the proofs and evidences that we have gathered and collected, that will be covered under dash part. What is it that is called as? Do you remember the name of that particular segment? Yes, it was called as annexure. Annexure. I want everybody to remember this. There can be number of annexures. All right. There can be annexure 1, annexure 2, annexure 3. Annexure 1 could be related to the first part of your report. Annexure 2 could be related to the second part of your report. Annexure 3 could be related to third part of the report. So you should remember that there could be number of annexure. So keep this in your mind. That's all in the session called as report writing. So this is what we have learned. This is what it was explained to you all. That's all in this particular class related to report writing. In case if you have any doubts, let us open up for the discussion part. Thank you.